Hey there YouTube, this is Avi, and this is going to be my Star Wars theory video. Now, as the title says, I believe that Rey is the reincarnation of Anakin Skywalker. This is just one of the many theories that I've thought about, but I actually really like this theory. I know it sounds crazy, it's way out there, but stick with me. So, common theories right now are that Luke is the father, or Han and Leia are the parents of our character Rey. Uh, I don't believe Luke is the father, and I don't really believe Han and Leia are the parents. But if you do, that's really cool. That's one of the things I love most about this new movie, is that we don't have a lot of answers yet, and we are going to movies twice, sometimes 3 times. I've seen it 3 times now, and we are looking for answers. So that's actually pretty cool, because it's been a while since I've seen a movie and I didn't really know how it was going to end or whatnot. So I'll try to make this quick. So first I will try to do at least some debunking to kind of give some validity to my crazy theory? Sure, we'll go with that. And again, if you don't, if you believe Luke is the dad and you're sure of it, awesome. If you think Han's the dad, perfect. I don't want to make anybody feel bad about thinking one thing or another. These are just my ideas, and these are things that I've picked up while watching the movie now for a 3rd time. So, first off, Luke is not the father, in my mind. You got to start off with Rey thinks Luke is a myth. She gets on that Millennium Falcon and she's like, wait, what? Luke is real? He's not just like Santa Claus or Jesus? What? I mean, I don't want to get... never mind, forget I said anything. But yeah, she thinks he's a made-up character, or maybe not made up, but he's just a story. Now, it's debatable on when or how old Rey was when she got dropped off on Jakku, but she looked like she was somewhere between 3 and like 7 years old. I don't know. I'm not good at guessing ages of children. And yeah, so I feel like if she has some recollection of her parents, like she remembers that she had a mom and a dad, I guess, and she's waiting for them. She's waiting for them to come back. She must remember what they look like. She must kind of remember who they are. It hasn't been stated that she doesn't know who they are. It just, she knows that they haven't come back yet. So I imagine if she would know that Luke's her dad. Maybe. Who knows? Or she may have been too young to even know. That's always a possibility. So yeah, Rey has no memory of Luke. Rey mentions that she's waiting for her parents, as in plural. Who knows, Luke may have met a lady and they made a Force baby. I don't know. One of the biggest scenes for the whole conspiracy that kind of like debunks the Luke thing is when Rey touches the lightsaber and has her visions, and then, you know, wakes up or snaps out of it, and Maz is there and says something. I can't, I'm terrible with remembering exact lines, but to paraphrase it, she says, you know, you're waiting for people who will never come back, but there is, you know, someone else waiting for you. And Rey says, Luke, like, that kind of there in that bit of dialogue kind of separates the idea of parent to person that's waiting for you. If Luke was her parent, her father, she wouldn't have said, like, these people will never come back. That immediately separates those two. They will never come back, but there is someone else coming for you, or waiting for you, coming for you, and that's Luke. So, I don't know, I guess it would be kind of a contradiction to say, like, oh, they're never coming, your parents are never coming back for you, but you have a parent who is waiting for you. That that was a big part of it for me that really kind of solidified that Luke is not the father, like Maury. You are not the father, sort of theory. Also, we go into the age of Kylo and Rey. Now, Kylo is the Jedi, or the Padawan, the student that turned to the dark side and then killed all those the other students, and then went, and yeah, at least that's what we are led to believe. Kylo doesn't look that much older than Rey. I'd say he's anywhere from 2 to 5 years older. So when Rey's dropped off, she's either 3 years old, 7 years old, youngest, oldest. For this scenario, we'll say Rey is 5 years old. And we'll say that Kylo is like at most 5 years older than her. That makes him 10. I don't think a 10-year-old's just gonna go apeshit and kill a bunch of students and get away with it and be seduced to the dark side. That doesn't seem like practical. I feel like, yeah, that's a bit of a stretch. From when you see Rey get dropped off to when you see Kylo, turn to the dark side. I imagine he turned to the dark side around maybe closer to 15, 16, 17. And they just don't seem that far in age. They could be vastly different in age. Kylo could be 30 years old. I don't know. They don't really tell us these things. They don't, there's no information on that. But from what the movie has shown us, Rey gets dropped off. She's a little girl that's maybe 5 years old. Kylo at some point turns to the dark side, and he's probably a teenager. He's old enough to be slaughtering people. The ages just don't match up for me. On to the Han is not the father. Now, I would probably believe Han's the father before Luke, just because the interaction between Rey and Han were really curious. It made you very suspicious, like, huh, are you this girl's dad? The way he's very hands off, he's very like, I don't want to know you. Kind of was very curious, and then he warmed up to her really quickly once they reached the planet where Maz is located, and that was Han doesn't seem like the type to warm up to people that quickly, unless there's some reason. But I still don't feel like Han's the father, because I mean, he would probably remember dropping off his daughter on Jakku. I mean, he knows a lot of, about the planet of Jakku. And then when Rey meets Leia, she also doesn't just come out and say like, "Hey, my daughter! You brought my daughter back! Yay!" Any of that. Kylo meets Rey and isn't like, "Yo, sis, come over to the dark side and we will be friends." Yeah. He's more like, "You need a trainer. I could show you." Like he's still kind of, a little bit friendly to her, even though he's trying to kill her. But he hasn't shown that like brother-sister relationship or setting thing. So 3 different people from this family meet this girl, and none of them have even bring up or entertain the idea that she is a part of their family. That alone kind of says a lot. Also, some of the things that apply for Luke apply for Han and Leia. Rey doesn't really have any recollection of Han and Leia, or doesn't, right off the bat, she doesn't like, "Oh my god, my parents." She kind of also thought of Han as just a myth. He's a smuggler, he's a war hero, whatever. So there are some things that are curious about her that have to do with the Han character, but not enough for me to say, like, for sure, that is his daughter. More likely than Luke, but I'm not sold. So on to my theory. My crazy tin hat theory. Rey is the reincarnation of Anakin Skywalker. Now, in each of the trilogies, the original and then the prequels, we are introduced to new Force concepts, new Force powers. I don't know how you want to look at it, but in the original trilogy, we see Force ghosts, and with Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then Yoda, and finally at the end with Anakin becoming a Force ghost. That's the sort of Jedi's final stage once they've become one with the Force. In the prequels, we are introduced to the idea of Force conception, like Jesus' birth, being born of the Force manifesting itself to create life, which I actually kind of think is cool. It's a little, Jesus-y, but it's kind of cool to think that the Force has that much power. So I like to call that Force conception. So why would it be such a stretch of the imagination to think that the Force can sort of recycle itself? Once one becomes one with the Force, it can then return back to life, or not return back to life, but reincarnate to a new life, new body. And that leaves us with Anakin wanting to further redeem himself, get a second chance, reincarnate into the character that we now know as Rey. And the idea of reincarnation is kind of hinted on in this movie with the Maz Kanata character, which is why I really, really like the Maz character, because she is a really interesting link between Force users and non-Force users, the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy. She's lived for so long, she's seen it all. And she even says, you live as long as I do, and you see the same eyes in different people. So that's kind of, and people tend to say the eyes are the window to the soul. So that might be looking way too much into that dialogue, but I feel like that is a little bit of a hint towards reincarnation. She sees something in Finn's eyes, someone that wants to run. She doesn't get a chance to really look into Rey, which I'm really bummed she didn't whoa. But she did question, whose daughter, whose kid is that? Which, is kind of a more hint towards Han or Luke, but that's still something kind of weird. And then once we get back to that scene where Rey is being called to the lightsaber, to Luke and Anakin's lightsaber. Now, this would be kind of a Buddha / Avatar the Last Airbender sort of plot twist. She's being drawn to an item that her past life used, that was important to her past life, kind of like the Avatar. When they do the selection of the Avatar, they have toys laid out. I don't know if you guys have seen Avatar: Last Airbender, but when every time the Avatar reincarnates, they'll kind of do some tests, oh, which toy do you want to play with? The Avatar always picks the same sort of toys because that's the ones they're drawn to. So I think that's similar to how the Buddha works. I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody by saying yeah, totally. Yeah, they just pick it by the toy. Do you like this toy? Yeah, the last Buddha liked that toy. No, I'm not saying that. In the Avatar, it's kind of like that though. But she's being called to by this item that was so important to Anakin Skywalker. That's so important to Luke Skywalker. That's a Skywalker relic at this point. An heirloom. Why would she not be called to it if that wasn't some sort of connection? Whether she is a Skywalker, or even more so, it's her past life connecting, with her current life. And as soon as she touches the lightsaber, the first thing she sees, she's basically teleported back to either like a hallway on the Death Star, or it does kind of look like the hallway in Empire Strikes Back when Anakin and Luke are fighting. So it's like it's taking her back to an important part of her past life. And then you see scenes that with like Luke and Kylo, and you see a bunch of different scenes. You hear a bunch of different voices. You hear Obi-Wan speaking. You hear Yoda speaking. So it's a lot of stuff going on. It's not all clear, but I think that's the point, and that's probably why I've seen this movie so many times. It's because I keep waiting for that scene to catch more things, and you catch something new every single time. It's just fantastic. But that's really important, is the fact that she doesn't go first to Luke. She doesn't go first to her life being dropped off on Jakku. She goes back to Vader first. Ooh, yeah. Also, major point, Rey is inherently knowledgeable in the Force. Like, this is so natural for her. It's just, and that could be a really good thing for the plot, or that could just kind of be lazy writing there. I really want to believe that with how much care and like and how much time was put into this movie, they wouldn't just do a lazy like, she knows how to force persuade. Yep, like right off the bat, knows how to do it. She knows how to fight with a saber. I feel like there's something definitely more about Rey than what we believe. And you can say, oh well, she's a Skywalker. Her mom might be Force sensitive. That's why she's super Force sensitive. She's super powerful in the Force. That's not always how that. That's not how that really works. Like, it doesn't matter who your parents are. Jedi don't don't fucking have kids. They weren't supposed to. So most Jedi just came from obscurity. Like Yoda's parents were definitely not Force sensitive. He was like the first of his kind to be Force sensitive, I think. Don't quote me on this. Anyways, getting off track. And the fact that Kylo is also a Skywalker and needed to be trained from a young age, and he has the training. And even though, he has that training, he was still defeated by Rey. Granted, he was injured and had just been fighting Finn. He's still more knowledgeable in the Force than Rey, unless Rey is, instead of learning the Force right now, she's remembering the Force. It's coming back to her from her past life as Anakin, and she is strong. She is really strong. So I think that would be the most convenient, maybe, I guess that's the word I'm looking for, convenient way of connecting her to the Skywalkers without her having to be the daughter of a Luke or a Leia. And for me, the biggest reason I don't want to believe that she is Luke or Leia, Han's daughter, is because of one major factor. And I personally want to believe that Rey's parents are just nobodies. They're some lowlifes that abandoned their daughter on this planet Jakku. That's a deserted, just it's a graveyard. It's a it's a junkyard. They abandoned her, either traded her for credits or whatever, and told her, we're gonna be right back, and then just left. Because that makes Rey's character a lot sadder. It makes her like, wow, your parents just didn't care. And the fact that they left her with the junker, the guy that then has her go out and scavenge for parts, and he gives her food then, the portions. He pays everybody in food. He's not taking care of her. Rey's a slave for him. I really hope that Luke wouldn't think, like, this is the best place to leave my daughter. I know she's in hiding, but, like, Luke got to hang out with Uncle Ben, and, Leia got to hang out with Organa. They were in safe places. They were fed. They were loved. They were all these things. Why would our heroes then put their daughter into hiding with someone who's not going to take care of her? Why wouldn't they give her to Lor San Tekka, who clearly knows Leia? He knows her from way back, apparently, because he's like, oh yeah, she'll always be royalty. Or possibly Lor San Tekka knows Luke because he has part of the map for Luke, so he may have been there at the Jedi Temple or something. He clearly knows Luke and Leia, so why wouldn't they give Rey to Lor San Tekka, you know, the old guy that Poe's talking to in the village and then gets killed? Why wouldn't they give him to him, or give Rey to him? Why wouldn't they do that? Why would they give her to the Junker guy, who later on then sicks his guards on Rey? He doesn't care about Rey. Come on. So that's my rant. This was a way longer than I thought it would be, and I apologize. But yeah, that's my theory. Those are my debunkings, those are my theories, those are my crazy ideas. Please, please, please feel free to comment below and tell me how crazy I am, or tell me that I'm wrong. Tell me your theories. I would love to hear them. I'm obsessed with Star Wars, and I will probably make more of these videos if people like them, and if you don't like them, I'll probably still make them, just because these are actually kind of fun. And I like to ramble and talk and whatever. But anyways, yes, please comment your ideas. I will read them all and think they're all really fascinating, unless you're going to tell me that Rey is Jar Jar Binks' daughter. Then I will probably hate you. I won't hate you. I don't care. I'll just laugh. Anyways, comment, like this video, subscribe. I do apologize for the audio quality. I don't have recording equipment. I'm just using my laptop, obviously. And thank you so much for listening to me rant about my crazy idea that Rey is the reincarnation of Anakin, like Buddha or the Avatar. Rey is the Avatar. Thank you so much. And bye. I don't really have a goodbye. This is my goodbye. Stay frosty, Iceman. That's my goodbye now. Alright. Bye-bye.